Hello, and thank you for stopping by my poster today on how public libraries can welcome homeschoolers. As you can see from the top of our slide, some libraries have been inattentive when considering the homeschool population. There was a study done in Nassau and Suffolk County, and the study showed that there were several libraries that did not have a designated person responsible for homeschooling program and the collection. And so you can see here there's just a variety of people that were filling out the survey that was part of the study. And there was just a lack of attention to homeschoolers as a specific user group. And so because of that, public libraries tended not to be proactive in their services. They also were inconsistent on who was responsible for the development of programs and the collection. And therefore, homeschoolers were not viewed as a population in need of unique services, and sometimes their needs were not met. However, homeschooling is on the rise. As you can see from down here, in 1999, homeschoolers accounted for 1.7% of the schooling population in the United States in 1999, and that has bumped up to 3.4% in 2012. Also, the estimated number of students homeschooling in the United States in 2012 were 2 million. So it's important for us as librarians to understand the homeschooling population. This chart here describes some of the demographics of homeschoolers, their ethnicity. About 70% tend to be white, male and female homeschooled about the same ratio. There's a slightly higher education level of parents that homeschool compared to their public school counterparts. But I didn't really want to focus completely on just demographics. I think it's more important to understand homeschoolers for who they are as far as why they're homeschooling and their philosophy on life and education is really the value for libraries to understand. So who are homeschoolers? They are all different, and especially in their educational philosophy. You'll see there's a spectrum of philosophies going on with your homeschooling parents, and each of them will be unique on the spectrum. But it can range from formal educational curriculums, such as textbooks, what they use in schools. Some families will use those at home. And then we move up the spectrum. We have classical education, where it would be literature-based, where they're going to be really using a lot of biographies and fiction and historical fiction and nonfiction books. Unit studies, child-centered learning, right up through unschooling, where the philosophy is let's learn as we go along and it's not super structured. So regardless of the philosophy, the library is able to support the homeschooling population. 70% of homeschooling families rely on their local library for educational resources as a main resource too. So you can see libraries are very important to homeschoolers. Why they choose homeschooling? Again, it's going to just be so varied. Maybe their child has special needs or they excel. But the top 4 reasons are concern about school environment, desire to provide moral instruction, dissatisfaction with academic instruction in traditional schools, and the desire to provide religious instruction. So those are the 4 main reasons. But like I said, they're all different. Homeschoolers are all different. So how can you market your library to the homeschool community? You can make connections with local groups and their leaders. You can brainstorm with those people on programming or collection development. And you can promote your services through homeschool fair email lists. So if you have a homeschool fair, you can gather email lists and then send out a newsletter. of course, signage, word of mouth, and a biggie now is social media. There is a lot of literature out there on successful library practices for serving homeschoolers. And so you can see just a few here, and I won't get into all those. I'll let you read those. But I do want to highlight here is a picture of a homeschool resource center that the Johnsburg Public Library in Illinois created in 2001. It was really one of the first of its kind as a resource center that has sample curriculums, state regulations. You can have connections to local groups. They have science kits, all sorts of things that are tremendously popular. And now many libraries are copying this homeschool resource center, maybe calling it a slightly different name, but it's the same idea. I did highlight here collaboration. That's the big thing. Don't assume you know what the user group needs, but talk to them and get to know them. And they will be one of your biggest supporters and help you out. The nice thing about supporting homeschoolers at the public library is that the libraries also receive a benefit, which is kind of just a nice bonus, because obviously we want to serve all of our populations, and it's nice when the libraries can receive a bit of a benefit as well. In a survey conducted in 2017 at the Liverpool Public Library in New York, 78 respondents of homeschool parents responded, and 100% of them are library users, and 67% of those families use the library weekly or more than weekly. So you can see they really love the library. And so that means they add a vibrancy to the library. They increase circulation, increase our program attendance. They help with volunteering, and they're great advocates. If you need someone to go to Advocacy Day at the Capitol or write letters, they are really very willing to help the library. And so as kind of just a concluding quote here, commitment to lifelong learning and an insatiable desire for information make libraries and homeschoolers a perfect match. So thank you so much for coming by. I have a handout if you'd like to learn more. And again, my name is Deanna McGregor, and I thank you very much for stopping by to see my poster.